Ladies and gentlemen, they've been here. They host this. They produce this. Please give a rousing Women's Expo greetings for David Jones, Carla, Lawrence, Shandie's, and Artisan Kitchen. Clap bigger and louder. Let's go.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, we're excited to be doing this yet another year. We always have fun with Bear. Bear's always awesome. I want to give a big shout out to our sound and video guys back here. They always do great. I can
They're
see
eating,
from
so
the
they're
back
happy.
whether they're smiling and eating and everything. That's for the perks, that's for sure. But they've always been with us. Y'all, Joe, you've done this ever since we've done this, right? It's all been you? Okay.
They've eaten more leftovers than any sound crew in history.
Well, I either get the big thumbs up or whatever, so I know how things are going when I can sit and look at watch Joe's face. So how does everybody like the Real Women's Expo in this part of the Expo Center this year? Isn't that awesome? Yeah. We really, really like it, and we want to also thank Banks for helping us out and always sponsoring this for us. Banks, if you've never been to Banks Market, you've got to go and check it out. They have got a lot of ingredients and things like that you might not find at some of the other places. So definitely check them out. They've got great sales when they have sales, that's for sure. So check them out as well. It's a place that we run to when we're in the Lone Oak area and stuff too, because we're always running back and forth to places. And sometimes one place will be sold out of something, you gotta go find it somewhere else. So you can always count on Banks to have it there. So, most of y'all see a lot of real familiar faces that we've seen years gone by. We're going to start out doing a mango ambrosia salad. How many of y'all remember ambrosia salads, just from mom, grandma, all that? Well, we're going to give it a little facelift, a little modern. We're going to add some mango to it. And then we're going to play around with doing it with fresh whipping cream instead of the proverbial Cool Whip. That way you've got all natural ingredients. And to help firm that up a little bit and to make it set where it doesn't, sometimes when you make ambrosia salad, how many of y'all have noticed it'll get runny the very next day? It's just, soup pretty much, and then your marshmallows get, real small. We're going to be adding some white chocolate pudding powder, the Jell-O pudding powder, to the whipped cream, which does two things. Number one, it will stabilize your whipped cream, which Bear's always called it my super cream because I use it because you can pipe with it and it stays the shape and it doesn't fall on you, especially on hot days. Plus, it helps keep it from getting runny. It actually acts as a thickener to it, and you won't have it runny. And 2 or 3 days later, you can still have it and eat it. It's just as good and everything. Because mango is delicious. Everybody here like mango? And everything awesome. How many here has trouble trying to cut it or trying to figure out how to cut around the seed and everything? First time I got it, I think I wasted 3 of them trying to figure out how to cut them and everything. So then I just found out you could buy them frozen. And I did that for a while. I cheated. And then I seen a life hack on exactly how to do it properly, and then finally mastered it. But sometimes if you hadn't done it in a while, it's still hard to remember how to find out because the seed in this is flat. It's flat and at an angle, so it's almost shaped like your hand. So if you try to cut it this way, it's real close to the edge. If you cut it this way, you've got a lot more flesh on both sides that you can cut from. So once you figure that out on them, you got it going. So, and they hold up really, really well. Used to, you would only get these certain times a year. Pretty much everywhere you go, every grocery store carries these, including Banks, and everything. And they're always, these here usually stay pretty
They're really
ripe.
nice,
It's not like avocados where you get them and they're harder in a brickbat.
And if you can't find them and you do get the frozen one, those are really nice too, and they work good for something like this especially.
Yeah, and on our caterings and stuff, when we're doing so many massive things, obviously we're not going to be standing there cutting 400 of these Doomajoggies. And everything that we will use, the IQF frozen and everything, because they pick them and they are cut and froze the same day. So I think Dole is who makes them for the regular grocery stores, and they're IQF, the day that they're picked, they're processed and frozen that same day, so they're not sitting around in a warehouse or anything. So you can feel really good about that. So we're going to make this, but first we have y'all are going to be the first ones to hear. We have an announcement to make that we're really excited about. It's been something that we've been in process for a while and everything. So we're going to, honey, I've been there, I've done that.
We know better than that.
No. I was married for 21 years. I'm good with that. Now, we are actually opening up a second location for Artisan Kitchen of Murray. Yes. So we're going to be over in Murray and everything. And we have taken on a partner for this venture over at Murray. And this is Miss Sarah Watkins, and David will tell you about her. Come here, Miss Sarah.
Yeah, so Sarah started working with us a few years ago, working on catered events and such, and she has a great background. She's been to Sullivan University, yes, so she has a culinary degree. She's worked in Wales and in the UK. Most recently, she's been moved back to Murray for a while, and she's been working as a head baker and I don't know what your exact title was there, but baker at Panera in Murray, so trainer. So we're really excited about having her. She's really smart, really talented, so she's going to be.
She's worked under 2 Michelin star chefs when she was over in the UK.
Yeah.
So she's very passionate about her pastry and bread making as well.
Exactly.
So she's just a really good fit. She actually started working for us with some catering and everything. It was back when I was laid up from back injuries and stuff. David called her and she was coming in and working with her. So he actually got to meet her and work with her quite a bit before I did, while I was laying in bed staring at the ceiling for a few months and everything. But then we, over time, have learned that she's got a passion like we do. So she's going to be the everyday running operator owner of it. But you can still go over and get your 3 little pig sandwich.
Absolutely.
And everything. And then we're going to have obviously we're going to have some things for the college kids. And everything as well.
Congratulations on the expansion. That's very good.
Well, we're really excited about it.
The first thing you need when you start the restaurant business is very comfortable shoes.
Yes.
Because you're on your feet. Hey, you were in the UK. Do you speak like an Englisher? Or you speak total American?
My husband does.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, her husband's actually from Wales.
Yeah.
And everything. And they've got a son. They come back. Of course, her mom and dad's here. And that's why they wanted to come back. Was so little Jessie, right? Wanted to be next to, she called them Grammy and Grumpy, or Grandma and Grandpa? Nana and Papa. So wanted Jessie to be with Nana and Papa. So that's why she come back. And it's always been her dream to have her pastry shop and stuff like that. So we're going to expand her horizons besides just pastry and everything. We're going to incorporate her into the Artisan Kitchen family.
We're really excited about it, though, because she brings an expertise that really Carla or I don't have. So we think it's going to be a great addition to everything. I do too. Excellent. All right, so we're going to get started on mango ambrosia salad because we need to get you fed.
Exactly. All right, it's a pretty easy recipe that we just kind of whip and stir, and we do some dicing. So we're going to be needing 2 cups of mangoes, diced and everything, and Dave will work on that. And then Miss Sarah, if you want to cut, we're going to need some pineapple as well too. On this recipe here, we need 1 cup of just medium diced pineapple, and then 1 cup of mandarin oranges. Drain out some of the juice. We drained this out, but then as it sat, while we've been here, a little bit more juice. But that's where the magic of the whipped topping comes in, where I put the pudding in there. That'll absorb that, and you'll be fine. It'll keep it nice and thick.
So you'll notice on the mango, if you're looking at the mango this way, the seed, if you cut down each side of it, you will get the seed in this section. And then you can go around and you can kind of cut. And get the rest of the flesh around that. And then this is pretty much all your seed there. When you have the sides of the mango, we need this dice, so we're just going to score it. You can do kind of an avocado the same sort of way.
And just be real careful that you don't cut through to the back of your hand when you do that.
And then you just want to kind of mash it down and run your knife. And you have your diced mango. And you can get rid of your skin.
So I'm going to go ahead and make my whipped cream. I have 2 cups of cold, heavy whipping cream right here. And to that, I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of sugar, 2 tablespoons of the white chocolate Jell-O pudding powder. It's pretty much half of a bag, half of a package of it. And then I like to add, a lot of people like to add vanilla. I actually like to add almond extract to this because the almond and peaches go so well together. Almond and mango go really well together too. It's really, really good with your citrus stuff. And then I'm just going to start this on just slow till everything gets kind of mixed and blended together. And most people, when they make whipped cream, what's the first thing they do? They turn that sucker on super high, right? And get the volume in it, and then you take it off, and then next time you go around, it's already deflated. and stuff. What you need to do, it's because of the size of the bubbles that it's making. When you're making whipped cream and you're doing it real fast, the bubbles get big. And if you have a small bubble and a big bubble when you're blowing bubbles, which one pops first? The big one and everything? It's because it's so large, it's got such a big surface, it's more apt to pop. If you do it and incorporate lots of smaller bubbles, they just stack onto each other and they won't deflate as quickly. So always start out with, once your sugar's dissolved and everything, just slowly work it up, and then you'll start seeing the difference in your volume, and you'll get a whole lot more volume out of your whipped cream and be able to stretch it more as well too. And this takes a little bit longer, definitely this way. How many have ever whipped cream, done heavy whipped cream by your hand with just a whisk and everything? Yeah, it does. It definitely builds up your shoulder. When I was in culinary school, that was one of the tests we had for bonus points for the end. We were told that whoever could whip their cream the fastest by hand manually without using a machine was going to get 20 extra points. And everything. That was the only rule. We just couldn't use anything that you had to plug in. You had to use your arm and whisk. Well, I put my whisk, I put my bowl in the freezer, because obviously the colder it is, the quicker it whisks and everything. And then I put my heavy whipping cream in the freezer for about 10 minutes to get it even colder than just straight out of the fridge. Well, he didn't tell me where I could do it. When the test came, I just ran straight in the freezer, and I stood in the freezer and I made my whipped cream, and I come out like 3 minutes faster than anybody else. So I got my points, but he didn't tell me I couldn't go in the freezer to do it. All right, so you can see it's already getting thicker and everything. So like right now, the bubbles are a lot smaller than if I'd have done it on high. And it's not flinging it around as much as like if I had to put that on high immediately. So you're going to start seeing the volume and everything come up on this. And then pineapple, if you're in a hurry and can't get a hold of fresh, you can use the can. You can use the tidbits if you want, or you get the chunks and just run a knife through it, chop it up. Same way with mango, you can use the frozen like we talked about. Mandarin oranges, pretty much those are canned. I mean, you can sometimes get mandarin oranges and peel them yourself, but pretty much that's a given just to use your can on those. Marshmallows, if you want to be totally adventurous and make marshmallows yourself, feel free. It's just a lot of love of labor to make this much marshmallow and that small, that's for sure. And then we've got our 2 cups of shredded coconut that's here. This is unsweetened. Half a cup of sugar is all we've got in this. Everything else is naturally sweet. So, as you can see right here, I already have nice and thick whipped cream. I mean, it is super thick, and that is from using that pudding that's on there as well too. Almost to the point of looking like when you over whip cream and it looks like butter and everything that we have. So next up, you can go ahead and put all your fruit in the bowl. You can go ahead and dump this mandarin oranges too. And then we have sour cream to give it some tang. And then here's a little bit of sugar. We can just go ahead and stick that in there with. Okay. You can sweeten your sour cream and then put it in, but since all the fruit's in the bottom, we just went ahead and mixed it in with that.
Oh, okay. Hi.
I was. It's called initiation. All right, so the best thing to do is always fold in your ingredients that break up or tend to be the sensitive, and that would be your whipped cream on this one here. So he's coated them all right there with the sour cream. That's a good dish right there, just a little sweet and sour cream and some fresh fruit. It's delicious. So we're gonna add in our nice soft coconut. I've even done this with toasted coconut too. It's really good that way as well too. If you do that, you can do a really thin version of it and then serve it with like little shortbread cookies. It makes a really, really nice dish to go with it with the toasted coconut on the top. All right, and if you want to, just go ahead and dump them in. Yeah, we hand rolled every one of those marshmallows.
Every one of them.
Right? Yeah. Dave and I did that this morning. All right, and you want to grab a rubber spatula over there? Miss Sarah, we're going to let you do double duty. You can do the whipped cream as well. Have you all got to taste it and everything? What did you think? Did you like it better than the old time? I mean, did you like the idea of doing it with the mango a little bit? Yeah, yeah. I've tried it with guava before too. It just wasn't as good. It just was not as good as it was with the mango. And another thing that's really good too, if you do it with the mangoes and not the maraschino cherries, but they've got the Bordeaux cherries, they're really like a bean cherry in the syrup. You can do it that way if you're needing a more dramatic dessert. You can do a chocolate whipped cream and then do the mango and then the Bordeaux cherries with it. It is awesome. Anybody have any questions about this? Yes.
Hold on, I'm coming.
Bear's coming to you.
Why did you have to sit in the middle?
Now
All the
she's
way up there.
embarrassed. She doesn't.
Oh, don't be embarrassed. Who had the question? Oh, okay.
I just wanted to double check what type
Voila.
of pudding you said you put in there.
It is Jell-O bread, white
Voila.
chocolate pudding. You can do other flavors, just like the vanilla. To me, it tastes too fake. If I'm going to use real vanilla, I want real vanilla. That just tasted too fake to me. The white chocolate is just very inert, and the cheesecake flavored pudding works really well too. It's just the white chocolate just seems to work really well. It doesn't have a fake offsetting flavor to it.
I like the French vanilla with coconut pie.
Do you like the French vanilla?
Yeah, yeah. I have another question.
Where did you graduate from culinary school?
What's that, hon?
Where did you go to culinary school? Is that what you-
Me?
Yeah.
I actually was self-taught and then went here to our local Wiki-Tiki, what we call it, West Kentucky Community Technical College. I can't hear you, honey. Bear, what'd you say, Bear?
I've got a KCTC,
Uh-huh.
and I could really use those extra 20 points, so I'm gonna,
All right. Yes, definitely. And it was actually Chef Fletcher. He was a guest teacher at the time when I did that. So, yeah.
Say, what's your question? So they want the recipe for the ambrosia.
We've
Okay,
got
yes.
recipes, yes.
Yes, we do have the recipes.
Actually, just take some of that ambrosia home with you in your pocket, and you can analyze it later.
Yeah. We're going to do another recipe real quick here in just a second, too. We are going to be making a Kentucky hot brown casserole.
Another question's coming up.
We've got recipes on both sides, so after we're done, y'all can come up and have one.
Yes, I like to have the recipe with the one with the coconut in it. And how long have you been cooking?
How long have you been cooking?
Oh, me?
Not today, but in life.
I actually started pretty early. I was brought up with a grandmother and aunt that I spent a lot of time with in the summers that did a lot of canning and stuff. So pretty much since I was 8, I learned how to do green beans and canned pork, and we had a smokehouse and all that kind of stuff. And then my mom, she was just the opposite of me. She didn't like to cook, and she was afraid to cook because we were poor, and she was always afraid to try something new because that food costs money. So she only was stuck with the tried and true stuff. If it was on the back of a Campbell's soup can or a minute rice box, she would try it. But anything else, she was always afraid to try. I always loved trying stuff. So I was kind of like, even when I was a kid, we'd go to your house, I'd go in your bathroom and see what you had and everything. So I was like a little chemist even when I was a kid.
Pilfering is what
Yes,
you were doing.
exactly.
Another question coming here.
How can you tell if a mango's good and ripe?
What you need to look for is a little firm, but where you can depress it just a little bit. If you touch it and it's it's kind of soggy, stay away from it. But you do need it to be just a little bit, not as firm as an apple, is what you're looking for. You want to be able to, when you touch it, it's got a slight depression on it.
She's
And
talking about a good mango and a bad mango. Bad mangoes usually live near the railroad tracks.
Yeah. And the best way, mangoes are shaped like a pear. Check the bottom because there's more stuff there. So that's going to ripen last over the top. So your top's going to ripen quicker. So if you're touching that bottom and it has a little bit of a give to it, then you're safe and good to go.
How about Kentucky hot brown time
Everybody ready for that now?
Yay.
with a twist from Artisan Kitchen?
And if you decide that you don't want to do either of these recipes, you'll find them on our Easter brunch down at Shandie's. So you can
That's
just
right.
come down and make your reservation for Easter, and you can skip all the dishes.
Yes, the Kentucky hot brown casserole has actually been so popular we put it on just our brunch menu that we serve on Saturday and Sunday too. So you can order that anytime. This recipe actually started from a lady here in town, runs a couple businesses. She has some family that was coming from up north, And she gave us a call, and she said, I want to give them a little taste of the South, but I need something that's easy. It's not something that you have to assemble a lot of. I just need something that I can pop in the oven and pull it out. So what can you do? So David come and told me her dilemma, and we sat there and thought, well, Kentucky hot browns are great, but that's a lot of assembly. You know, you have all this to do, and she didn't want that. So I thought, well, let's figure out a way to turn it into a casserole. That way you can make it up ahead of time and everything. Well, they absolutely loved it, so much to the point that I made extra when I made it for them, and we sold it there at the store in the smaller casserole pans. Everybody that had it come back and wanted more. So we ended up actually putting it on our menu, and this is something you can order at Artisan as well too. But it's simple, it's easy to do. How many people know what French toast is? Okay. What about savory French toast? Has anybody ever heard of savory French toast? Okay. Well, that's what we've done with this. Instead of just a sweet version for the bread, because we needed something that wouldn't just turn to just soggy, sloppy, bread sitting in the bottom of the casserole pan, we're making a savory French toast. So we take Texas toast, and we make your egg and your milk batter. But then we add some Dijon mustard to give it some tang. And we also add Parmesan cheese. So that bread's going to go into Parmesan cheese and mustard, salt and pepper. And then we're just going to brown it off just like you would a patty of the bread. And this is great because you can make these up ahead of time. And if you want to do single served hot browns, you can set this down, add your turkey, add your cheese sauce, your tomatoes and bacon. That's all your ingredients. So you can't go wrong with turkey and bacon and cheese sauce, right? And we'll be bringing y'all some samples of that as well too. So, what you gonna start with here?
I've got the saucepan for you.
Okay.
For butter.
All right, so were any of you here when Casey Broussard was here earlier and was doing his roux? Okay, well, I'm gonna make a light roux today because that's how I'm gonna start my cheese sauce. And this cheese sauce by itself is great to use. You can actually use this for your macaroni and cheese sauce as well too. So this plays double duty for other things. You can use it as a base for your soup as well. It's kind of chilly back there, so my softened butter has reformed. This is my hard softened butter. All right, so I'm going to melt that. Once that melts, I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of just all-purpose flour to it. And if you need to make this, anybody on a gluten-free or gluten-restricted diet and everything, feel free if you need to do this with coconut flour. Works really well with that. Rice flour, it's a little bit too heavy and pasty tasting. It's hard to get that taste out. But the coconut flour works really, really well anytime you're having to substitute it for savory cooking. All right. And this comes together really, really quick. Once you kind of do this recipe a couple times, this is one of those things where you're not going to have to pull out the recipe. You'll be able to just do it.
Because there's no ingredients hardly at all here.
No, I mean, it's super and easy. And the really cool part is on the turkey, this is just roasted turkey breast that we roasted. Any of you have leftover for Thanksgiving, you can use this dish. But a lot of places are selling like the rotisserie turkey breast now, where you can get that. So you don't even have to worry with that part. You can just go get it, or you go back in the deli section, you can just have them cut you off a 1-pound chunk of a roasted rotisserie style or something like that and do the same way with it. So it makes it quick and easy. You could do this with chicken too if you wanted to. Maybe it's just personal preference, but I've had so much chicken anymore. I really like the change in the flavor of turkey. All right, so my butter is melted, and one of the best things to tell when it's ready to go is when your butter is totally foamy. That lets you know that all the milk solids and everything have hit the same temperature. So I'm just going to sprinkle in my all-purpose flour. As you can see, it's already kind of taken on a blonde color, and that's where we're cooking out that raw flour taste.
I thought that's what bakers used for powder was flour or cornstarch. Either one, yeah.
All right, so once it comes like a really, really light caramel color, that pretty much tells me that all the flour taste is out of it, and I am going to add, let's see here, let's do the milk first. I've got 3 cups of milk. I use whole milk on this. And then with the flour and the milk, once that milk comes up to a boil, that's when that flour kicks in and starts thickening. So that's why I didn't add my heavy cream in yet, because it's already its own natural thickener. So once that comes to a boil, which we're going to pretend we have the magic of TV, and let's say it is bubbling. You want to make the sound for me?
Bubble, bubble, bubble.
All right.
Is that the sound?
There we go. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add in my heavy whipped cream. And then I'm going to season this with some salt and pepper. I thought I'd bring these from home because they were cute and easy, but man, I miss having just a big old bowl of it. All right, and fresh cracked pepper. How many of y'all can really taste the difference between when you crack fresh pepper versus buying it in the can already cracked and everything? All the oil has pretty much dried up and evaporated because there's no telling how long ago they ground all that up. But it's dried up out of it. Now, one thing you can do with it, because you can get that thicker grind, go ahead and buy that if you don't have time to do this. If you'll heat up a skillet, throw in your pepper on it and toast your skillet, that'll refresh all those oils again, and that'll give your pepper a lot deeper flavor and taste as well too. So how about while I gotta wait for this to come to a boil, and then all I gotta do is dump all my cheeses in, and once that thickens up, it's done, but I gotta wait for this to get hot, because if I dump this in, I'll just have 3 different colored big globs of cheese in the bottom of this. So he can go ahead and make his coating for his bread.
Yeah, so I've just got the eggs. We're going to whisk those up.
6 eggs, yes.
6 eggs. And then we have some nutmeg. And Dijon mustard. Finger method.
Everybody's always asking for spatulas. I said,
I am.
Good Lord gave us here two good spatulas right here. You either wear a glove on it or wash it off. See, that makes them eggs look extra golden when you add the
Extra
Dijon.
golden.
Now the Dijon, everybody knows the difference between like a Dijon mustard and just a French's mustard and everything. Definitely a lot tangier, a lot more tart, a lot higher acid level in it. But mostly it's got white wine as well, too. And that gives it that kind of extra, what is it, the Grey Poupon commercials that were so popular for a while?
Yeah, you can have 5 jars of Grey Poupons equal to 2 glasses of wine. I'm completely lying. I have no
I was
idea.
going to say, I don't even think I would want to try.
5 jars of Grey Poupon.
That's something to think about too. Anytime you're working with like a really high fatty meat and everything, you've got to that's rich, when you think about it. High fat meat like lamb, duck, things like that. Anything that's more acid based and strong like that, like Grey Poupon or Dijon mustard, that's why that goes so well, because it's got such a high acid level that it cuts into that, like orange duck. The acid from the orange duck, or like the lemon pepper chicken or lemon duck or things like that. That's why they do that, because that cuts through that richness, and that gives you a balance of your flavors that you want. Because it's sweet, salty, bitter, and acid. Those are the 4, and then of course you got the 5th now. They call umami. I've only said that when I've mashed my finger. Umami. All right, so you got it all mixed together, all your cheeses and stuff.
I've got the eggs and the Dijon mustard.
Okay.
I got the Parmesan cheese for dipping.
Yep. Need a little bit of butter.
Need butter
Oil.
and oil.
We need speed vision, Joe. This ain't boiling quick enough. I'll tell you what, while I was doing that, I'm going to go ahead and slice my tomatoes for the top, and we'll wait for this to come to a boil. This is like the old-timey cameras where you had to wait for the flash. All right. I don't know if many of you all have the problem of trying to carry a knife without it poking through your purse. I don't, I have that issue sometimes when I go somewhere and do a demo.
Among others, but that's one
Private
issue.
chefing for somebody. But yeah, sometimes I have a problem. Even when I bought the little cases, I'll carry in my purse and all of a sudden I see my knife blade shoved straight through the purse and everything. Doesn't do good when you're going through security at the airport too, because sometimes the chefs carry things that we forget about in our purse, like a wine key and a chef's knife. They get kind of scared when they see it. But anyway, some of the ones that you buy, they have a tendency to break and everything. I've learned to make my own. So one of these days if you're bored and you want to make knife cases, this is just hot glue gun is all it is. So if you ever need to protect your blade, even if it's in they have a tendency to get dinged up when you got them in your drawer. But if you'll just rub like petroleum jelly on your knife, take your hot glue gun and do your squiggles around and everything. You have to do it a couple layers and everything, just like that. Once it cools, you can run it under hot water and it slides right off. You wash it, and then you got your own case. Some of these cases for these knives run anywhere from $13, $14 or more. So, that's a little bit more. If you want to get jazzy, you can use the glitter glue gun too if you want. But I have yet to have this poke through my purse yet. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and slice up my tomatoes
Is there
for
another
the top of the casserole.
container of cream?
Da-da-da-da-da. Somebody must have got it. What do you need it for?
Alrighty.
You want the eggs? Okay.
So we're going to start with the French toast.
Yeah, to work without it.
So we're going to dip the bread a little bit in the egg mixture, just like you would normally do with French toast. But then we're going to coat it in Parmesan cheese. And begin to fry that.
How many of y'all are looking forward to this garden tomatoes, the nice fresh garden tomatoes? There's nothing better than a fresh garden tomato, is there? Anybody here have a birthday today right here in the front besides Doc Jeff? Anybody have a birthday coming up within the next week or two? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, anybody have 5? Everybody's got a birthday coming up next week?
Wow.
Oh, today? Okay, well, come here, Miss Today. Huh? Okay, the ones that's birthdays today, come up front, please. Yeah, everybody's going to have a birthday today now, right? Take this home and grow you some tomatoes. You can grow you some oregano. And happy birthday to you, too. That's your stove. We just got these two. Oh, gotcha. I'm almost done with this one. I can hurry this up. Okay, so I've got my tomato slicing. This is up pretty hot, so I'm just going to pretend that it is bubbling again. I'm going to go ahead and stir in my cheese sauces. One of the big problems anytime anybody's ever tried to make a cheese sauce with grated Parmesan, sometimes it gets really grainy. You don't want to make sure that that's the first cheese that you put in, and you just don't dump it in all at once. Make sure that you're stirring the whole time, and then do a little bit. Stir, make sure it's totally melted in there. Do a little bit again. Stir, and you just do it like 3 or 4 times with whatever you have. And once that is all together, we're going to be adding our cheddar cheese. You can do a mix of whatever cheeses you want. I like the idea of the sharp cheddar and smoked Gouda. Does everybody like smoked Gouda cheese? This recipe has bacon in it, so why not have some more bacony flavored cheese as well? Y'all eating it now? What do you think? The cheese sauce is good, isn't it? It would be really good on macaroni and cheese. All right, so I'm going to add in my cheddar cheese here. And then once that melts, we're going to add in, that was 2 cups of the cheddar cheese. And then 1 cup of the smoked Gouda. I have actually even, you can even do this with a dill Havarti. If you're going to be making a mac and cheese, that's really, really good. But see how this is, it isn't grainy at all, as you can tell on the cameras. It's already got a nice shine to it from the fat that's in it. And then I'm just going to slowly add in my smoked Gouda sauce, or Gouda cheese, to make the sauce. What's that, hon? Yeah, it's a grated, fine grated Parmesan to where it's a powder. If you do the other, you cannot get it to mix. If you use the shredded Parmesan, make sure that if you're grating it, you're using like a microfine grater on it, because it won't melt the same if you're trying to do it with the other type. All right, and then you want to adjust your seasonings with that. Taste it, make sure it's what you want it to be as far as your flavor. Add more salt and pepper to it if you need to. And then this cheese sauce is ready for when we do assemble the casserole. So, did you show how you dipped it in the...
Yes. Yeah. So we're just getting a nice toasty brown color. This is kind of what you're looking for your finished product.
And you can also, on this here, if you're doing like a couple of big ones, like for the holidays when your family's over, this works out great for like Christmas, because you can make these up. Freezes great, by the way. You can do these in the oven as well too. Just do it on a sheet pan, do your dipping, put it in the oven, take your time, doing them. Especially when you got to do a lot of them.
And this is all going to bake in the oven together, so you don't have to worry about you don't have to worry about it feeling like it's getting too brown and going to burn like the cheese before the eggs are kind of cooked through the whole piece of toast, because it's all going to go in the oven and bake.
And Bear's wanting to borrow our other cooker, so I'm going to run it back. Be right back, guys. Hi, guys. Oh, I'm still on. Sorry. Did you hear me? I forgot I was turned on. Hi,
I
guys.
did. Everyone heard you.
At least that's nice. All right, anybody have any other questions about anything while we're waiting for everything? You enjoyed it? Good.
And this recipe is going to make 2 of these casserole dishes worth, so
yeah,
this is like for a big family dinner type of thing.
Right. Or you can make them, save one now, pop the other one in the freezer, and then the next week you'll have it again.
Absolutely.
So you and me go ahead and start assembling?
Yes, I'll get this out of the way.
Okay.
David, how long have you been cooking?
Oh, about 15, 20 years. Most of my experience in restaurants was front of the house serving. When I initially opened up Artisan Kitchen, I had some other partners who were the primary cooks. I always liked to cook. I did a lot of cooking in college and stuff like that, but as partnerships sometimes happen, I ended up kind of taking over and ended up doing more of the cooking hands-on myself.
So David's mother is actually over here at the booth.
You've never been classically trained?
Never classically trained, just in the kitchen, on the job, training.
Started off at the mansion?
Yeah, the mansion of Golconda.
Yeah.
Yeah. Worked many, many years there. Went away to college and came back and worked there some more. So.
His mom just said he would bake cookies at home.
There you go. Peanut butter cookies, which we are selling right over here.
Yeah, that's what she pointed at, the peanut butter cookies. David's mom's over here at our booth.
That's David's mom. That's Barbara over there. Hi, Barb.
Mama Jones.
They have sale items over there too, by the way.
All right, so we have our French toast here in the bottom, and this makes it nice for serving when you're serving whole things. It's easy to get that spatula under that whole piece and put it out. If you've got a big, group you're feeding, you can always cut these in half to make them smaller as well on the portion size. So we're going to just top this with half. This is a little over 4 cups of shredded turkey. So we're going to divide this in half because we got enough here to do 2 of these. So that's nice and very generous on your protein and your meats here in this. So it's a nice hearty casserole as well. or if you want to do them individually as your sandwich. Okay. And then we're going to layer it with the bacon. And I always like to tear these in half. That way you can get a piece that's still easy to spatula up, and they'll still get a whole piece per.
And the bacon, when we do it, we usually cook it in the oven on a sheet pan.
Yes.
It cooks easy, less splattering, less mess. Cooks
How many
evenly.
of y'all have ever got burnt by bacon grease when you're trying to fry and pop? Yeah.
All right.
And then we give our bacon a nice massage or a good rub down with some brown sugar and some spices and pepper as well, too. It kind of relaxes the bacon.
And cooking tip number 92 is never cook bacon naked.
All right, so we've got our French toast, we have our turkey, we have our bacon, and now you're going to shingle your tomatoes. Again, about 2 pieces per serving here. A couple more months, it'll be even better when we can get those lovely fresh tomatoes straight out of the garden. All right. Then the best part.
More sauce.
More sauce. Right over the top. All right, and you'll put this in a 350 degree oven. If you're putting it right in, you just want to make sure it's bubbly and hot. If you're doing it directly after this, because the cheese sauce is already hot. This is pretty much room temperature. Your bread's already hot. Takes about 30-35 minutes. If you're pulling it out of the freezer, you can either pop it straight in the oven frozen. It's going to take about an hour and a half. Or if you want to just pop it in your refrigerator that morning, by the time you get home, you can put it in. It'll take about an hour flat out on that one there. So there you go. You can top it with some fresh parsley when it comes out if you want to. Some more bacon bits.
Yes.
Would be great too. But these are quick and easy, guys, and I hope you enjoyed it very much.
Thanks.